I thought it would be a light somewhere.
But, you know, I don't know. I have no clue what I would say according to this. It really could be, I have no clue. It could be maybe a 60 times or whatever. I have no clue. But to me, this thing here, no, this is not 60 times. This is more than 60 times. This is definitely more than 60 times. The 60 times would look something like this. It would be like small, like you were able to see on that picture right there. If that picture is correct from the internet, it would not look like this. I am going to try to check and see if the comparison of that thing actually is valid. If that is it, you know, this will be. It would not be. This is just too big. On Android, it wouldn't be. Nevertheless, I have no clue what this is. And then I have this thing here that supposedly would be 30 times. So one more thing I'm going to check, find out what precisely would this be like. And so this thing here, I don't know. I have no clue. This thing maybe, I don't know. This is supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen, 30 times. Is this 30 times? If this is 30 times, then there might be a problem with the explanation here of that photo, for which what I'm going to do is, I'm going to investigate a little further and find out if these photos exactly do match the description of you know, of what it should be the case. So far the only thing I can say is that I can go by these things here, and so it's basically the only thing I can say. To me, if this would be a 50 times, it would look smaller. It would definitely look smaller, because I have no idea if these are even my lens. I don't know. I definitely know that what should be this thing here from 60 to 100 times, this thing was changed into 200 times. I can tell you that. There is no science in respect to this thing here. And this thing here that should be 200 times, this appears to be actually 100 times, and so on and so forth. So, who played with these things? What have they done to it?
Okay, here's what it is. I want you to remember this item here, this thing here. This really is a magnifying glass. This is a magnifying glass, and this thing here, this was purchased, as you are about to see, on the March 11 of 2018. Then what we have here is actually a totally other item. This one here. This is not a magnifying glass. This is a microscope. This is a microscope, 200 zoom microscope. If you even want to call him a magnifier, but you can definitely not call this thing a magnifying glass, because I'll tell you why. Because none of these items here, nobody, whoever is selling this 200 times magnifier, let's see this, not magnifier but microscope, whoever the hell is selling this kind of stuff is not selling this as a magnifying glass, for God's sakes. This is a microscope for the Android. Let me demonstrate to you basically what this looks like, so you can get an idea what this looks like. So we're not going to be tapping here in the dark. It looks like this. You attach this on an Android, and it's a pretty damn useful thing, I would say. Easy to use, useful thing, good stuff. And then you get to see the stuff like this. You get to see lots of things, interesting stuff, good stuff. That's the thing that is attached to it. Now it does not show from the side, but it looks like this. When you attach this thing to the Android, it looks like this. So we're not talking about the magnifying glass here. We're talking about here. We are talking about here the microscope. It says 200 times, that magnifies, zooms, if you like. Okay. But this item here, yeah, this thing really is a magnifying glass. This thing is a magnifying glass. There's no doubt about it. It's just a little magnifying glass. That's all there is to it. The loop. It's not for the Android or anything. This is just like this, to hold in the hands and look things, to magnify things. That's all there is to it. It's very, very important. You know why this thing is important? Now look at this. I bought these two cards that you see here. Both Kingston brand. Pretty damn good quality stuff. I bought this too. Expensive too. 16 gigabytes ran me $12. So each was $12 per piece. That's 24 bucks, 24 euros. That's more than dollar. And so 24 euros. Have left one of these cards. No, I did not left one. It's a stupid thing to say already. Have left a telephone when moving from downstairs upstairs on a March 24th. In an area of the garage, I was moving cameras downstairs, and this telephone just happened to find itself in an area. And guess who else happens to find himself in area and have administered the whole thing? My neighbor. The next thing you see, he pulled the card out of the telephone, and I have no clue what he had done with it. He used a taser, like a taser, or he have used, even what they have demonstrated me, would be like a clothing that was somehow grounded with electricity. So he would, I don't know, this is what they have demonstrated me under MK Ultra. One time in an area of shower area downstairs, the individual was gone. They say he was gone, but he had forgotten something. I don't precisely remember what that was. And what he would do is he would go like this, touch with his, it was a white, whatever that was, gloves, and it was just, he would just, and then he, several items and so on and so forth. They have suggested me that when you use a taser on a data, they did not demonstrate me as the card, but it suggested me that when you use the taser on a data, what that would do is it would destroy data, a digital data that is destroyed. And I do have a video that can prove that the card, one of these two cards, I'm not sure which one, in a little bit we're going to test this thing here, really became totally non-readable. For that same matter, I have just, I did not. I'm about to demonstrate you. One of the cards that I have just used now, just have recorded right now, is not readable. And because this card is not readable, I started to assume that, that's why I started to assume. Now, if you remember the incident about my father, how he tried to get me out of the room, with claiming, you know, how first he did not know where his remote control is, and then secondary, he came up with theory on how there is no TV signal and stuff like this, tried to lure me out of here and so on. Under MK Ultra, they suggested me on how they're going to get inside. They suggested me on how, even went as far as suggesting me on how my neighbor, on how he's going to lock himself inside of the father's room. Now, my father lately have left a room locked ongoingly. Why the hell would now, after we have this situation here with this remote controller and this things here, and all of a sudden would start to lock the room? The fact of the matter is he is locking the room. But that's, listen, that's totally fine. I'm just saying that attic area is locked, and now his room is locked too. I don't know. Was this done for the purpose to destroy my items, or is this done as I was suggested under MK Ultra would be, or was this done to actually lure me inside of the room to look for my neighbor and to actually video record me and then use this against me maybe on a court or something like this. I believe it was done for both purposes. I believe it was done to damage my item. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to show you the item that was, I believe it's damaged. And I'm going to show you how other item that was previously damaged, all the videos, not all of them were restored. Basically the videos that were totally useless were restored. Either they were useless or they were modified, because the portion of the videos where I get actually approval from mom that states what day it is and so on, when I receive the package and so on. And I'm talking about the packages that arrive from the eBay, that those portions of the videos are actually cut and do not exist. Now go and prove who cut those videos. I did or my neighbor did. So basically they're edited, and because now the card that I have used, now these are the two cards I have bought maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago, month ago I believe. It must have been a month ago. It was a day when I'll tell you when it was, when I went to the shop. So I could look into the receipt and I would tell you precisely what the date is. I do have the receipt from the day when I went to check this very computer. When I wanted to check the computer, that's basically the day when I bought this, to ensure that I would actually video record properly the whole thing, the whole event. Okay, so now go and basically figure out, what precisely is going on here. Okay, luckily I got something left. The portion of video where probably it was stated that my mom states what day it is, because what I did was I would ask her a question, I would learn about what day would it be, and then I would go inside of my room and would proceed with doing my stuff and so on. So I would ask her a question, what day it is, with camera in hands pointing at the items. Then I would proceed back into my room and do the stuff. So nobody would say that I'm lying or something like this. Okay. Nevertheless, the day when I moved upstairs, one of these cars that you're about to see was electrocuted, I don't know, with a taser or whatever you want to call this, because I was not capable to access the data. And I have posted also on a news site I was not capable to access the data, and I have specified the reason, pretty much assumption based on what I was told under MK Ultra would happen with the digital data. Most have suggested me that under digital data, two versions. One version was that it will be totally destroyed, it's gone, and another that over time the data would become again available. I don't know which one of this actually is a valid one. What would actually be here that would be credible, I do not know. The only thing I'm saying, what I was told under MK Ultra. A few extra words of my neighbor, which he rationalized to me as, you think I know? Even today I have no clue if this is true or not. I'm just going to repeat the words I was told by my neighbor precisely. If I do it, if it's done like this few more times, and then the SD card becomes destroyed. Quote, that's it. In addition to what I have stated. Is it true, is it not? I have no clue. That's precisely what he have told me, and as you're about to see or have seen, no, the data was not available. I could not access one. I have video recorded the incident. Today, it became again accessible. But the card that I was using became not accessible, meaning that the neighbor was inside in here again. And I also have another proof. I have the video how mom lured me down. They have done something, I don't know what, I don't know how they have done it. So the lights would start to like flash, it would be like like electric stuff like this. And so it was so funny. It started to flash. I started to record. The next thing, the mom goes out and it stops. And of course, I went downstairs to see it. And they use all kinds of tricks to get me out of here. And before you know, somebody sneaks in here and tick, and it's done. And so I got all these videos. I can put everything obviously online, but just bear with me. This is 7 hour long. I started with 4 hour, then it turned into, I don't know, 6 hour, now 7 hour. And as I go along, I just hope I'm going to get. There's just more and more stuff that's happening, okay? First is first, let me explain what to look for. You're gonna see like some kind of electronic almost like type of flashing, which you cannot see in a garage, in a neighbor garage. That's something cannot be seen, but you can see one here in the furnace. It almost looks like a New Year lights or something like that. It's like something like this, and it's causing, I think it's got something to do with the switch from camera, like infrared and daylight, something that is causing this thing to like almost kind of electric type of, like almost if you would see something like sparks or something like that. You cannot see that in the garage anywhere like that. When a mom comes out, all of a sudden it all stops. Regarding the micro cameras, I want you to pay attention to it's like electric, something that is flashing on a furnace, and you can see that. You can see it. In a little bit you're no longer going to see that. Quickly I record the time. Look outside to make sure the weather is not sunny. As I know it's not sunny, it's cloudy outside. There is no chance this possibly could be a conflict between the weather and cameras. Now I have actually managed to even video record what you have just seen, like at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I know this is a harassment. As my mother goes out, it stops. As I did ask my mom, in case you have not knowledge, when mom comes out, it stops. Everything stops. As I did ask my mom later on, Mom, I said, what about that? And she just laughed. She was quiet. She didn't say anything. So they did got me out of the room. Somehow they lured me out. I did go downstairs to check and see. But now this thing is from outside. I have recorded this already at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning as well. On the next day, tape, twice I'm going to play with this. You have to look at that very quickly. Same thing, basically repeated the same day. But what's interesting, it almost simultaneously, as I pull the camera out, it stops. And that kind of makes me think there are cameras in here. And if not, and if the cameras are not in here, well, at least somebody is trying very, very hard somehow, some way, somehow, I don't know, to make me see things the way you have just seen right there, so I would talk about them. I don't know what other explanation possibly one could have. Okay, when you pull quickly out and you record and it stops, what do you do next? But there's a lot of stuff like this.
Now, the videos that, like I said, partially reappeared, I have all the videos that are totally useless, and really almost none that would be handy to me, that would be useful, that would actually confirm the items which I have collected over time in the back and which I have dated and so on. And I'm referring to the whole bag of items. I don't know precisely what I'm going to do right now. I don't know what value those items, to keep those items in the back, still have. I have no idea what to do with it right now because of the stuff I'm talking about here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is, we're going back to this magnifying glass and microscope issue. I am going to insert this card, this Kingston card that you see here, and the SD reader. It's here. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put one in here, in adapter. Okay, sorry, this is adapter, and this thing is a reader, if you want to be technical about it. We're going to plug this thing inside of the laptop. So now we have one of the cards, and we're going to quickly see what's going on, because, okay, this is the card that previously was not readable, and it did appear with some modified information on. I have deleted a few videos because it didn't make no sense. I'm not going to go around with the stuff what he anticipated me probably I would go around and drag totally non-essential information, you know, just as broken items he destroyed me and so on and so forth with me, clog the computer, pack my backpacks and so on with totally useless stuff. I'm not gonna do that stuff. I'm rather gonna take some other path. Okay. However, this is what this here is all about. This video here. What I'm gonna do instead, let me see if I already did or not. Yes, I did. That's a good thing. And we get this thing here. It says here magnifying glass. Yeah, magnifying glass, March 12th. Magnifying glass. I don't precisely know what exactly do they mean by magnifying glass. No, I did not. You know why I did not know? I did not, because remember it says March 12th. And on March 11th, I did bought magnifying glass. That's a magnifying glass. That's a magnifying glass. That's just a primitive, really primitive thing I have bought for the purpose, for completely other purpose, for totally other purpose, nothing to do with Android. You see, March 11, 2018, and what you have just seen here, finally, I got it back. To make the story short, I got this card back. I got this card back because the other one no longer is working. You understand? So I thought that somebody was inside here and went ahead and have switched me cards, and now I went ahead and I opened the stuff where the cards are stored to realize that the old card that did not work before now is working. Okay, here is the video. We're gonna look at the video. Look at this. It was created on March the 12th.
Okay, here's what it is. I am glad I did post this on my news site. Yes, I did, on my news site. Yeah, also Times. This thing was already posted on my news site, as you see here, on February the 13th of 2018, on Tuesday. Psychiatrists, whatever you want to call this, I don't have the words for them, have anticipated together with his neighbors and my niece's husband. And look, make no mistake, Slovenian government, just make it short, that takes orders from Kremlin on how there's all these issues with all kinds of stuff. What's going to happen is they're gradually going to destroy all my property, and then just proclaim me insane. Was not a really pretty sight, not a really pretty plan they had for me. And so what they did was microscopes would give like idea about me as probably something would be wrong with me. This would be like used like a main issue against me, would be microscopes. And I remember very well the scenarios under MK Ultra. They had several scenarios. The important thing is that I did logged here on Tuesday, February the 13th of 2018, that there was a switching of the lens. And they did switched lens. Interesting enough, I did post it because I went over and I did post this news on February the 24th of 2018. Evidently this is what I have received on February the 24th of 2018. Now we're gonna go back down here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna look into this things here. January, February the 13th of 2018. That's very nice, because I'll tell you why. This was the first microscope, this one here with a zoom of 90 times that I have received, and this zoom was manipulated with, changed with, I believe it was with this one. They would start to change me lens, because play with my items basically as pleased, because of a simple reason. I relied on this little cheap dollar alarm door, for which I have deemed that this is like they say, Trottenziegel methode. like for the dummies, for sure you cannot go wrong if you secure your place with this thing here. Now this thing, I couldn't be more wrong than what I was, because this thing really depends on read switch, and if you go to this page you can learn all about it. I pretty much explain on how more or less that's done. Obviously I don't have a time to go into details on how to disable read switch. These people, however, had and money and time and everything to play, and they did play here when these politicians were here. And so this thing went on, but practically this thing went on all the way to, they were playing with it, like whatever they want to do it, all the way to February the 13th of 2018. Now you're talking about already 3 months now, pretty much doing with me whatever they wanted to do down there, me sitting in the kitchen not knowing nothing about what went on downstairs. But things did not change even a little bit when I started to use Androids to monitor a room through hotspot, through wireless internet. Nothing really changed because they know how to hack these things, and they did hack browsers and so on. And this is also the stuff they also have talked about. Nothing changed at all. Things went on, and finally I started to place everything in the backpack, and it was tough because the moment I was not in, somebody else was inside. Now I did some video recordings in respect to these things here, in respect to this switching of the lens. I did it. I should have done better than this, but because of these little alarms, I postponed. I have done other stuff, and believe how all this is going to be, it's not a problem, and so on and so forth. I was really wrong, but I do believe I do have some video recordings that can prove the original, whatever they were doing, manipulations with these microscopes. Now, because this microscope here was manipulated, from the beginning, this was like, wow. Very, very powerful. Basically what appears now in this microscope, and it appears that this thing here that was received on February the 24th was inserted in this microscope now. This thing was inside of this thing here, this, and so I got an idea that because it says right there 90 times zoom, and because it says here from, I think it says from 60 to 200 times, and the salesman with whom I have spoken have told me that this is about 90 to 100 times zoom microscope. I have assumed that the 200 lens also pertained to this one here, which in fact was also modified. Now this is what they have done. I have created in my head totally wrong idea about what went on. This is how they have confused with the microscope. I'm sure you have heard about expression, the first meeting or the first impression is the most important one. That's precisely what they have used. It's exactly the type of concept they have used, and they have modified me. This three tools, microscopes, you want to call them, to make the totally wrong impression. What are you going to say? Wow, you're going to say this news here was posted on February the 13th, and this one here was posted on February the 24th. That's right. That's right. They did not stop there. This tool here that you see here, when this tool arrived, because they play with these microscopes, and all of a sudden this tool arrived, I felt that because of this news here, which I have posted on February the 13th of 2018, and because I went to the eBay and I was not capable to find under my eBay account, summary I should say, this information about this item, I did not even know what the hell this thing was, all through Later on, when this item have again reappeared under my account, I have realized that I did purchased one for $10. It was 200 times zoom microscope magnifier, if you want to call this. But because of these things here, because they have promised me what they're going to do under MK Ultra, how they're going to be doing this thanks to me, and so on and so forth, I got so confused that, especially because the way it looks like. If you look at this thing in a little bit, I'm going to show you. Look how the hell this thing looks like. I did not even know precisely. It's advertised as a microscope, 200 times magnifier microscope. I didn't even know what the hell this thing is. It came in such a pretty little box, a very beautiful box. It's like a little thing box like this, and I had no clue what that was. If you look at the mail, in what mail this came, as I posted here in one of these mails here, there's nowhere specified on any of those about what was inside in here. And so I opened this thing, and basically I see this thing, and well, yeah, I see now something that I have not. And also I see that this was, there you go, this is yet another stuff that was used to confuse. I'm holding one in my hands right now, and I have realized this is yet another manipulation. Look, if you pay attention here, you're gonna see that behind the sticker it says microscope. But who the fuck did put this sticker atop of where it says microscope? And why was it placed in there? You get it? It's a game. It's a mind game that was practically used to totally confuse me. I'm just realizing this stuff now. And you know why mainly I'm realizing this stuff now? I'm mainly realizing this stuff now because psychiatrists have done to me so much violence when it comes to torture, to stuff, that even the proof that I have right now, and I'm going to submit to you, you're going to see me, about, it was a time for me to go to the police station and make the report. I did not even have a guts, let me tell you, when they stalked me around and to go to the police station. Finally, the first time I went to police station, it was like, I have no idea, maybe what was it? Let me see this, 2.5 weeks ago, maybe, something like this. So that was on Friday, 2 weeks ago, whatever. Thursday, excuse me. And so this was the time for me to go, the stuff I'm going to present you with, to the police station, and instead of that, I have failed yet again. And all this proves, now pay attention to this thing here. Very confusing, isn't it? Well, you're going to realize in a little bit, you're going to realize that every time, each and every time, they have created such a situation that you could not for sure determine and say, this is what it is, this is what it is. That means that it was a procedure of driving me crazy. Here and there, I have managed to get like a hard proofs that help me go further with my claims, but most of the time it always bordered with something that you see here, that you're about to see, that you have seen there, and so it always was like this, on the border, always was on the border, always was on the limit, on the border. And that's how you basically drive individual insane. This shit is done professionally by psychiatrists. This is advanced psychology psychiatry is what it is. Now, see what I have to say in respect to that. Right, here are the three items. This is the number one item. Honestly, I thought this is the name. I thought this is some kind of a name, something. I opened it up. Nothing was on the box. Nothing explained what it was. I opened this thing up, and voila! It looks like this. Considering what they were doing to my microscopes, I have even ordered another microscope because I got so upset. You remember the first impression, the first impression is the most important one. And they have done it. They have switched the lens and made me believe that this and the other microscope that I ordered from Slovenia was way more powerful than what it was when they have, I don't know, either switched back or whatever they have done to it. They probably have switched back. And so in my head, it was totally wrong idea. And I got really, really upset. It upset me because all of a sudden I see this thing no longer was strong, you know. And I said, wow, they have done to me this thing now. So you know what? I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to order me another one. And I did. I did order me another one. Okay? And so, guess what's happening now? On March 11, I go and I order this simple thing. Well, this thing here, this is nothing. This is actually totally useless. This is just something for something else that I have purchased. It's like a little magnifier. Maybe somebody can read something with it, but I got for something else I purchased this thing. Very, very primitive thing to do. Very primitive thing to use. Magnifier, I have no clue. Maybe 10 times. Maybe something like this. If that's good. 10, 15 times. Maybe something like this, more or less. Primitive, but it's got this thing inside that I bought for specific reasons, for some research anyways. And so, but on March 11, this one here delivered. What is this here? This is a magnifying glass. This is a magnifying glass, yes or no? Magnifying glass. This one here delivered on a March 12th. Therefore, bought on March 11. This one arrives, the second one that I ordered, on a March 12th, the day after I have purchased this one. Under the name, this one comes under the name, not as a microscope, is what this is, a microscope. 90 times magnified, 90 times zoom, a microscope is what this comes under the name of the magnifying glass. Now, I get this stuff, I look at it, and I'm like, I don't want to curse, but I already did anyways, so I apologize. I was like, I said, this cannot be. I ordered this one just yesterday. Now, this can never come in from China to me, to Slovenia, within one day. So I got really, really upset. And instead of going to the police department, local police department, and report the whole incident to the police, I have bent down. Let's say that I did fail, but I'm going to repeat to you that I failed because of what psychiatrists have done to me. And you have no idea how difficult it was for me to go to the police department. You could throw me inside of the car and probably already drive me half country, and I would still probably hesitate if I had the phone next to me to call the police. This is totally ridiculous. The stuff these people have done to me is unimaginable harm. And so, again, here was the proof literally in my hand. You're about to see. I video recorded the whole thing, and I failed. I simply failed to go to the police. Obviously, the package in which it says magnifying glass was not the package from the microscope. You could put 90 times zoom, you could put microscope. Obviously, if you go to the eBay, you're not going to find something like this as a magnifying glass. Nobody does this. So I know for a fact that that package was switched. The horror about it is that totally evident it was right there in front of me. I failed to go to the police. And I also failed to go to the police because of other things as well. As I mentioned, I relied on those cheap door alarms. I was so confident in those door alarms. I possibly could not imagine. It's such a simple, primitive alarm that I kind of figure out that thing can possibly not manipulate it because it's so damn primitive. I mean, I figure out that you could possibly not do anything to them. And that's precisely what they have done. They had all these politicians, they had money, they have time, and they play with these things, all kinds of stuff. And when I was eating up here in the kitchen with all the stuff downstairs, and it was nice. In my head, it was I placed maybe 4 of those alarms on the door for sure. So when somebody opens the door, I was just like listening for the sound, when that sound is going to come from the alarm. There never was any sounds. The only thing that was happening was my things were just getting more and more whacked and cracked and switched lens and back and forth, and computer and everything. No, it didn't go from worse to worse. I don't know how even to explain this stuff, okay? And so this is what the game was. Pretty much how I failed, and maybe even foremost I failed because I was so damn sure that it would be that the one time when this guy actually will walk inside of my room, and boy, I am gonna hear the alarm, and before you know, I'm gonna be down. I'm gonna get him. I was sure that it really is a little bit comical. I was damn sure that I am gonna get him eventually. One time I am gonna catch him, and it didn't happen. And so things went like this until mid-February. I mean, you have seen the dates, everything. 3 months, I totally failed to acknowledge the possibility that, I was so sure about this thing, that no way, I'm a person like this. It's kind of believes, yeah, it's going to be all right, this and that. Maybe a little bit naive in that sense. I should say at least I was. I wouldn't do that kind of mistake again. But then again, you're microwaved all the time. Then they have used this acoustic torture and stuff. Ultrasound. I have no clue what they were using. At that time, I was drowning in pain. My feet. You have seen my feet. This was nothing else than wounds. The whole feet were covered in wounds. I mean, this thing dragged on since my return from Belarus. I mean, this is what the situation was. So now we're talking about already, I have no clue how long. I mean, we're talking about 8 months already, maybe, in totally unbearable pain. It's finally getting to me that my mommy have used softener and all this detergents and I don't know, without even rinsing them from the socks. My feet were eaten. When I would go to sleep, change socks, fresh socks, whatever I would do, nothing helps. Nothing helped. Washed shoes, started to wash my own stuff. Well, no matter what I would do, things would not change. Then this guy played with the microwave. What happens is, I'm not sure whether this is done with microwave, ultrasound, I don't know what kind of radiation is used, but I guarantee you, your feet heals, totally heals. It looks like you are completely okay already. And you go sleep, and after 4 hours of sleep, the wound open like this. Like wide opens. I don't know what this is. I don't know how that's done. Okay, but this was my situation. I mean, you get under this type of circumstances, it's a little bit different. What can I say? I mean, this is what the situation was. This is how these things happen. Regarding this item here in this beautiful little box that arrived, I kind of assumed that because a few days earlier I have posted this stuff online, and if I would contact people from eBay and ask them, even when there were not items as described that would arrive, supposedly would arrive, and I took the photos of them and I contacted the salespeople and so on, and the salespeople, what they would do is they would just not say, yeah, this is my item or this is not my item or something like this. No. I would send them a photo and I would ask them if this is sir, excuse me, please, is this your item? They would not answer with yes or no. They would answer with item that I sent is the one as I described as item on an eBay listing. And make no mistake, these Chinese people will not steal from you, not even a dime. This is what the biggest problem is, maybe. The problem is that rather than going and trying to save the penny, these Chinese people would go and they would attempt to send you another new item. Even what I wanted, I didn't want the new item. I just wanted to know get the answer yes or no, because the new item didn't mean to me anything. What I needed to know was it the neighbor that have played with this, stuff, or is not the neighbor, who did these things? Who, was this what he sent me or not? And so the only admissible, again, stuff that I can use basically are the indirect answer that never got even the answer with if it's yes or no after I send the photos and stuff like this. They would rather send you a new items and for free and whatever they would do to you, but they would not say with yes or no and stuff like this. This is how these things are. And so yeah, when it comes to this thing here, I kind of thought it maybe I said, because I published this on my news site, I said maybe somebody just sent me this like a gift, because when I went on the internet back on an eBay summary, under the summary, this thing was not anywhere listed. Then again it reappeared back as listed. Now this is not the only item like this. There's a whole bunch of items that are like this. Items, especially whenever I have requested returns, some of them have disappeared from the summary totally, and I have proofs for that, and some did not. Some items that, let's say, I have not paid for, some items that I have immediately canceled, and they were canceled by the sales people from whom I have purchased the items, they would just stick right there under my summary and stuff like this. My summary of the eBay summary is one mess, and I got totally proofs about this. But the main stuff about this was the issue of stalking. And for that matter, to prove that, and even to catch the neighbor getting in and out, I needed a special spy cameras. But this is the issue we did not even come to yet, because I didn't have time yet. But about 5-6 cameras which I have ordered from China not only have never arrived to me, this cameras which money was refunded back to me, because I have inquired about the money back policy since those items never arrived, and I got the money back. This is the funniest thing, or the emails about the money refund and all this stuff, they all disappeared, and my waiting on those items to arrive, it was all for nothing. So there is like a huge stuff that I need to discuss about eBay. eBay and PayPal have both totally falsified my pay history, transaction history. And so these issues, although they might seem like a little issues, these issues are giant. With issues like this that are like this and like this, when they go for a very long time like this, you can really do harm to a person. You kind of confuse the person. If I would be a little bit different person, you probably confuse me on basically on what is, how is, and so on. So this is really the way to drive a person insane. Thanks to proofs that I had obtained, I had a guts to go to police station. Like I said, you could do almost anything to me, and I would even fear to report, to stop by the police station. Totally ridiculous situation. This thing here, by the way, if you wonder what this is, really is. It's a microscope like this. You open this thing, you attach this to Android. To me, this thing looks like a, I don't know, to me, it looks like really decent. It says here, magnification 200 times. To be a little bit more precise, and I did something stupid and it fell off me now, but this I did it. Under MK Ultra, they have suggested me, I'm gonna cite my niece's husband. I'm not precisely sure what year that was. This is how much I know about MK Ultra. There were two microscopes One was like a bigger size, and then they have shown me even this one. I remember absolutely to the last detail. This was under MK Ultra. Now, when you buy this kind of stuff, it doesn't come, like I said, it does not come stuff like this to you immediately. When you make a decision, you're going to go and you're going to purchase to get certain things done. What you do is, especially if you have a limited budget, you're going to go and you're going to order from online. You're going to go and you're going to tuck. That's what you do because you want to get as cheap as possible. If it's the same, it's the same, and so on and so forth. I remember them saying to me, this product that is advertised as 200 is not even a good product, basically is what they said. To me it looks good, this thing. All through, to me it appears that somebody switched lens inside of one. And they said the other product that is like a little bigger, that is also 200 and it's a few dollars more, and this one was $10, make no mistake about that. It's worthy to buy that one. And this is coming to me now because when you are drugged up, and like I said, they use the ECT method to clear your brain afterwards, after all these procedures, it doesn't come to you immediately. Okay, you have to see the stuff, then you start to remind yourself what the situation is and so on and so forth. Okay, and so maybe even that this thing here that you see, instead of being 200, it's possible that when I demonstrated the stuff in a previous video, that this might not actually even be actual 200. I have no idea. The only thing I know is that when it comes to this microscope and when it comes to this microscope, both of these have had the same type of magnification. And first I got this one. This was the first. And based on this one, which salesmen have told me here from Slovenia, that this is about 90 times, something like this. All through it's supposed to be from 60 to 90 times. He told me this is about 90 to 100 times, he said, for this one here. Based on this one, I have made idea about all other microscopes later on that arrived. One of them was this one, which totally was the same, and then because this one here was modified, maybe just returned back to its original status, I got upset and I had bought, I said, wow, they did to me this thing, and I went on online and I bought one more. You think I would buy two of this if, you get it. So it's always this kind of manipulation, this kind of things to get their game going, but this is not really in a nice way.
Okay, and we get this thing here. It says here magnifying glass. Okay, magnifying glass. I don't precisely know what exactly do they mean by magnifying glass. This here I do not understand. What kind of magnifying glass are they talking about? This cannot be magnifying glass. I'll tell you why this cannot be magnifying glass. Because I ordered one just, I don't know, maybe yesterday. So it does not come from China in a single day. That is just, I'm gonna say totally impossible. Okay. It doesn't work this way. Again, the date is right here. This is March 12, 2018. For any skeptics, anything like this. What I'm gonna do is what I usually do. Today, date, and so on and so forth. Just to prove the point. I don't want any conspiracy theories or anything like this. Okay. So basically, there you have it. It's 10:10 right now in the morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, March 12, 2018. Okay. And yeah, man, if I go to this was ordered on March 11 of 2018. You get that? So if this thing is in there, basically what I will do is I'm just gonna go to the police station because it's not okay. This does not come here in just a single day. Okay, and so this is evidence enough. We have neighbors who have stockpiled this kind of stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this on here, and I'll go ahead and have this thing open, and so we can see this. If this is what it is, it would be, the item would arrive actually within less than even 24 hours. And I do not recall that absolutely that I would order basically any other magnifying glass ever. So what precisely possibly could this be other than the item which, you know, I ordered just yesterday? Just so I don't contaminate the evidence, I'm gonna put these gloves on. This is precisely which gloves I am using right now, and let's do it right here, and we'll see what's going on here. Yeah, this is a microscope. This is a microscope. This is not a magnifying glass. Okay, this is a microscope. This is a real microscope for the Android. So okay, this does make sense. You know, I got scared that, you know, we're dealing with, again, some kind of supernatural delivery from China or something like this, which would not precisely make a lot of sense to me.
And so the item that you have seen was, in my idea, thanks to what they have done to the first item. I don't know, was this my niece's husband, Mitya Weber, or was it neighbor here, Dana Kulensi? It doesn't matter really, because these are the people that have talked to me under MK Ultra, what they're going to do to my, you know, microscopes, which I am going to order because of the cameras and stuff like this. It was placed again on through the eBay on February the 13th of 2018. Therefore, the second item, because of what they have done to the first item. Okay, I'm just going to add a little clause to all this here, because I'm sure that you are totally confused right now. Believe me, I'm not. You might be, I'm not. I have gone through too much to be. Here's what it is. If this isn't misleading enough, okay, and you have seen the photos, and if the title of this thing is not misleading enough, I'm not going to go into issue what was here or what was not here. The only thing I'm going to go into is a fact. When it got into my hands, it was a 3.0. So it's not even about who, how, what, and this and that. 2 days later, it became this thing here. And whatever you want to call this, whichever you want to say this is what the fact is. And it's very confusing, the stuff like this. They can get you into the stuff you say, but, you know, when it's so many things that, and the budget, they are using the budget. My God, they're using the budget. They have used the budget. I would say that some people out there might be stupid enough to say, well, this is well done. It's predictable, because probably that's what they are trying to also translate this thing. No, it's not predictable. They did not predict anything, almost anything at all. If you would go and you would rate their predictability, the ability to predict something thanks to MK Ultra and so on and so forth, that would be probably about 10%. I would give them 10%. Based on finances and the money restrictions, they have managed to push me into, I would say, 50-50 when it comes to making decisions on the stuff that I purchased. I would give them even 50% of, I would give them a 50% credit when it comes to predictability. They did. But, my God, look at this thing here.